Hi everyone. Today's video has 3 points and you're going to want to stick around because the third point is a secret as to the one thing that is most important to do to protect you and your book from getting stolen. So let's get into it. Today's topic is someone stole my book. Now I know what you're all thinking. You've taken all of this time to write a book that is of high quality, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, only to put it onto the market and for somebody to either buy the book or get it from some other way. They download the book, they rip the contents out of the book, and then they are selling your book on Amazon, on another site, or even just giving it away for free. And what are you supposed to do to protect yourself? Something with copywriting or trademarking or something else, because after all, those people are now stealing your content, and we need to know what is it that you should do in order to best protect yourself from this exact situation. And that is what we're going to explore in today's video. This is Chris Baird from self-publishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. Click the subscribe button below if you would like for me to make more videos like this one, and check out below in the description to grab a copy of my completely free self-publishing secrets checklist to make sure that you're not skipping any of the steps necessary to not only get your book out onto the market and self-published, but also to get it selling. So let's get into it. Here's my own story, and this was only within the last 6 months something happened. Amazon sent me a warning message telling me that my book that I'd put out on the market since I think it was 2017, when I put my book onto the market, one of my, I think I have, we're around 200 books plus on the market. But when I put one of them on the market back then, they informed me that this was no longer valid because the content in my book was easily available on the internet. Now, that was a bit of a shock for me, since the book that what I was selling has been there for 4 years. I guess it's been now, coming up on the 4 years ago was when, I think it was December 2017 was when this particular book was put onto the market. And so after having been on the market for such a period of time, how is it possible that it would be easily available on the internet? Now, I used copyscape.com in order to ensure that this book was not pirated or stolen content. So this particular book was a ghostwritten book that I had put on the market back then, and maybe a very high-selling book in its own right over the years has made, I don't know, thousands of dollars, this particular book. But then suddenly hearing that somebody had stolen it. You know, whenever I would go this route, you always want to make sure you use a tool. I use copyscape.com. I am not a partner or affiliate of theirs, but this is an amazing program. And so when I used it now, because it costs only about 10 cents per scan of the content that you're using, it then suddenly showed me somebody who had put up in 2020, they had taken my book and put it onto their blog for the same nonfiction topic. And the problem with this particular thing was that this book then was suddenly showing up on Amazon. They were scanning and crawling the entire internet to see if the content I was using was already used. Some people discovered they could take Wikipedia articles and throw them onto Amazon and start making money. Now you'll be thinking, well, this is like scamming people. Well, not really, because the fact is no information is completely new, but you hadn't written it or shown that you had taken it from them, and Amazon wants new and unique content in your voice, not somebody else's. So we had a problem. I had content which was showing up on somebody's website, having been there since 2020. Why did they do that? Well, it's to make them, establishing them as an expert on this topic, and also to drive ad revenue from Google Ads that they were running onto their particular site. So you can sort of see how they would do that. Now, they could also sell my entire book. That's another option that they would definitely have. But they were using it as content for their blog, which would also give them within Google. The thing is, I sent the evidence to Amazon showing them that, look, this content was, I found that, yes, this web page did have the content on there since 2020, but my book was published in 2017, so they've stolen this from me. And Amazon then, they agreed to restore the status of my book without any problems. But the thing was, is this is the first time that I've seen this particular thing happen, where Amazon would do it. The same also happens to some writers when they would actually take your exact content and then they would put it onto onto the Amazon itself, where they would just take one of your books, they would strip the content out of it, which is easy enough to do using a couple pieces of software, and then taking that and shoving it back onto Amazon and selling it as their book, right? Since it's selling so well, why not just sell it as their own? But Amazon also notices this sort of practice as well, and they will ban your account for doing something like that. But there's a couple of things here that are not so obvious. And I know you're thinking, like, well, what's the point of even putting content out there if they're going to steal from me in the first place? And that is the reason we have 3 points that I want to hit. Someone stole my book. Well, the first thing is when Amazon warns you, and this is a very important, it almost should be the secret tip of the day, you need to respond immediately. Usually there's many robots. Keep in mind, they don't have people sitting around all day just looking and reading your book and then surfing the internet. It's robots that are doing this, okay? So that's the first thing. And in fact, even the letter that was sent to me probably did not even necessarily involve a human at all in order to get that out. In other words, they could have had it completely done. They scraping the web, they find content that matches my content, they automatically send an email to me. Now at this point, you need to respond quickly within a couple days. The first thing I did was, well, look, if it's easily available, I should be able to find it. So I used copyscape.com in order to find that exact document. I was able to put my entire book into this Copyscape. It then looked over the entire internet. Now, it did cost me about 30-40 cents for this particular scan, but was it worth it? Of course it was worth it, because it showed me exactly who was stealing my content on which websites. So then I was able to go to those websites and find the exact thing. I responded back to Amazon. It was actually within the same day. If you wait a week, they will assume you're guilty, and because not by responding must suggest you're guilty, and they can shut your account down. Now keep in mind, this entire process does not necessarily involve humans at all. It is a lot easier to respond, because when we respond, their robots do not have the ability to read our responses, so they bring humans in right away, and we can clear this thing up within a matter of hours, as opposed to allowing yourself to say, well, I'll just ignore this warning from Amazon, and then they shut your entire account down, and you're left to try to figure this whole thing out. And then later you come to Amazon and say, why are you freezing it? And they'd say, oh, because we sent you a warning, you didn't respond to it. And it's a lot harder to open up an account that's been shut. And keep in mind, sometimes with Amazon, they could shut your entire account down and all of your books because of one simple person who stole from you and you simply didn't respond back. By the way, this is important to respond back regardless of what issue it is. If Amazon sends you a warning of any sort, you have responsibility to make sure that you're getting back in touch with them to respond and letting them know you take it seriously, so we can get a human involved in the process as opposed to being auto-banned from Amazon without a single human being involved in it. So this single tip here, by the way, will save you a lot of pain that many other authors have experienced with their books on Amazon, and you definitely do not want to have your book or account shut down because you simply fail to respond and take seriously their warnings. You definitely need to keep that in mind. But that is not my secret tip. So let's move on to number 2. Number 2, don't worry about people ripping off your content. It is a whack-a-mole situation. Now you may be wondering, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about when you go to a carnival, they have these little games. I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, I would go to Chuck E. Cheese, and there would be this whack-a-mole game. That's right, where the little mole would stick his head up and you have a little paddle with a little rubber thing around it, and you bang on that whack-a-mole, right? And you hit it down, you get some points. But the second you've done that, the next little mole comes up, right? You see it, these little plastic moles coming up, and you're trying to hit them as fast as you can. And you're getting some, you're not getting others. You can spend an awful lot of time doing this. And I am telling you, you do not need to worry about people ripping off your content. So it's a compliment to you in many ways, okay? If you look at the top authors, all of their books are completely free on illegal sites. People are continually doing it. Now, I would say that if you have a whole set of lawyers, let them work out, let them track these people down and stuff like that, but you should not be so worried about it. So many new authors are worried about people stealing from them. They aren't realizing the fact that your biggest problem is not people stealing from you, but rather something else which is bigger, which is just being discovered in the first place. It's actually a compliment to you that somebody wishes to steal your contents and put it on the internet. In fact, some of these people who steal will even leave leave your affiliate links or links that are within your book in place. They will also leave even your name in place. They'll make it easy for people to find your other books. They just do complete, utter rip-offs, and even sometimes lead your lead generation. That is where it shows them where they can sign up for your newsletter. So in other words, these people who are stealing from you actually can increase your total sales over time, which I know sounds completely crazy. But if your book is optimized in order to get these followers and these readers with lead magnets in your book, trying to get them onto your email list, and also pushing to your other books or your other affiliate links, then in fact, these people can result in you making more money, not less. So do not get so worried about it. Also, it is the whack-a-mole situation. If one person does it, then you go after them, and then they'll take your book down, and then somebody else will come up with your exact same book. But here's the secret of the day. You only need to publish your book first. That's the key issue. The second you've put your book on Amazon, it has a date time stamp on that book. So anybody else who comes out with identical copy or stealing from your book, another book, or putting your book available on another website or on the internet, you don't need to worry at all about that because you had the first copy. Now, if Amazon or any other publisher, whether it's Ingram Spark or Lulu or maybe Draft to Digital or these other smash words, come to you and say, look, we believe you're putting content that's already available, you simply have to show them, look, you were the first. You have that date timestamp. That protects you. We also, of course, have a copyright page, but it's somewhat understood here. It's thinking that you have to pay thousands of dollars to get some formal copyright to protect yourself. In reality, you've got the stuff, you've got the proof you had it first on the internet. And we're also, as we pointed out before, don't want to get into a whack-a-mole situation where we're trying to use what? You're going to pay for a team of lawyers to go after a 16-year-old in Indonesia who stole your book and is just trying to make some AdSense sales on your book. We're not dealing with top-level professionals here. That it's a waste of your time to go after these people. We wish to be discovered. That's our goal. Our goal is not to see if we can smash some 16-year-old on the other side of the planet for making a few cents off of our book. In fact, if your book is correct, we should be getting sales as a result of that 16-year-old. But we do need to make sure that we had our book out there on the market first so that we can tell Amazon so they do not ban our accounts should this little problem be discovered. And I can tell you for my personal book, I did not even do a takedown request against that individual. Look, if they want to use my book as some content, they're free to do that. I just need to protect myself from Amazon itself. And it's a compliment. Look, I understand there are people, they don't have the ability to pay for ghostwriters. They don't have the ability to write content themselves. They're going to steal. That's fine. Look, I'm not going to go after those people. I take it as a compliment. I'm not going to send a team of lawyers after them. What do I think I'm going to get? I'll tell you what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a huge bill from my lawyers. Those people will take the book down. They're never going to be found again, and then somebody else will maybe put the content out somewhere else. I am going to take it seriously when Amazon warns me, and we go from there. And ultimately, my books are going to make more sales for me when somebody else posts that content. That's just the reality of the thing. Also, if you throw your name throughout the book, when they do post your content, little do they know, they're pushing your other books for you. You see how this goes? In other words, you're saying, in your nonfiction books, and maybe even in your fiction books, in the beginning material, your preface, and also at the ending of your books. Usually it's the nonfiction that's going to be stolen in this sense, put on somebody's blog, for maybe keto diet or puppy training, or maybe how to take care of your lawn or vertical gardening or whatever it might be that you have on your nonfiction, that they're going to put that content on there. But if you put links to your other books and your affiliate links and also links to your email list within your book, when they steal that content, it's just going to lead to more sales. And that's the one secret I really want you to consider deep down. And then I also hit that subject of the copywriting issue, which is you've got the book out, you have evidence that you were the first, you were the one who created that content. Now, if they steal the content before you've managed to get this far, then we have another problem. This is why Copyscape, I run all of my books through Copyscape to make sure that it's 100% original material that's being generated, because Copyscape is amazing at finding even small sentences. I remember originally just playing with Fiverr with ghostwriting over there as well, and they would just nail these people. And then what did Fiverr do? They would ban those writers, those freelance writers, ghostwriters, from their entire website, and they would refund my money. So I would never ever want to do it, because if you put material out onto Amazon that actually is somebody else's material that they published first, Copyscape will find that material, and what they're going to do is they're going to punish you for that. They could shut your entire account down. So do not take that risk. Copyscape.com, a very cheap way of solving this issue, and I'm not an affiliate of theirs. I just find theirs to be the cheapest and the best software that is currently available still on the market for that. But I have a question for you. Have you ever had someone swipe, oops, I misspelled swipe, but swipe your book contents? If you have, write yes below in the comments. And if you've never had that happen, write no below in the comments, because I need to know where you're coming from and if this issue is relevant for your books. Or maybe you're even just worried about the copyright issue. Let me know, because I need to know where exactly you're coming from. And check up above me here for more video answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.